Hey everybody, welcome to the Creativity Cave. I have a gorgeous card to share with you today and I just love how it turned out. It is so pretty. Uses the stamp set. Actually, I gotta unbury it. Wild About Flowers. And it also uses another item that is on the clearance rack, which is, oh dear, I can't even remember. This is like seasonal frame thinlits. I'm pretty sure that's what this is called. This was in our occasions catalog and I did an entire super awesome, amazing thing on what to do with this framelit, which PS has nothing to do with die cutting, but that's beside the point. But I'm using one of the words today, the grateful, as well as these two pieces that I used to die cut. So let me show you how this came together. It's pretty simple. Actually, you might be surprised to learn that this card is actually quite simple. I'm going to start with my pool party card base, as always. And I'm going to grab, pardon me, a little scrap paper here to keep my space clean. I'm also, you know what? I'm using one other stamp set. Almost forgot. This is the Gorgeous Grunge stamp set, and I'm going to use this cool image right here. So to start with, I'm going to stamp that cool line image in Pool Party across kind of the bottom third of my card, roughly. I mean, there's no measuring happening here, I promise. Just stamp that across, and then we'll cover this up. You won't notice that it's totally crooked when you're done with the card either. It's okay, don't worry. Then I'm going to also take that image and stamp it across my grateful. Now I've die cut, sorry, I'm moving all this stuff out of the way. I die cut my grateful out of some Bermuda Bay ink. No, cardstock. You can't die cut ink. Silly Dina. Oh my gosh. But then I'm going to take that same line image and just stamp it right over the top. And I think this just adds kind of a cool little texture to my framelit. Isn't that nice? Love it. Okay. Then I promise I'll get to these flowers here in just a moment. Then I'm going to grab a little scrap of Pool Party, which of course I can't find, but let me, hold on. I've got a little piece here. Is that, yep, that's Pool Party. Sometimes I grab things and it's soft sky and I don't notice it till I get close up. Okay, now I'm going to stamp For You in Pool Party ink on my little scrap here. And sorry, I'll do this where you can actually see. And this For You is actually from a paper pumpkin kit from a while ago, but I think you can still get it. So if you can, I will put it on the supply list for this. Anyway, I'm just cutting this out like so. And then I will use my ever handy banner punch, which I don't see. Hold on. So I'll punch with my banner punch. Just center that inside. And this banner punch is on the discontinued list, so make sure you get it. It is discounted, which is even awesomer. And yes, awesomer is totally a word. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is take and just kind of crinkle this up to make it look a little worn. I just think that's kind of a cool look, and it sort of goes with what I did on my card. Okay, so I will add this at the end. I just wanted to prepare those pieces before I did my stamping. Now the stamping part is awesome. Of course it is. What we're going to do is, I love, first of all, that the stamp set I'm using is a two-step set, the Wild About Flowers. And the great thing about that is you can really do a lot of different things because you can separate out the images and use different colors. So I have prepared, I die cut my rectangle, the circle outside of the rectangle with my typeset DSP, which is also retiring. Make sure you grab some of that because it is so awesome. And then I just have a piece to fit underneath it. It's just a little smaller. I trimmed it down. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that part. So I'm going to stamp my seriously, I can talk. I don't know what happens. It's like you turn the camera on and your voice stops. Your mind is incapable of competent reasoning. Okay, I'm going to stamp this a couple of times. So the first time I'm going to stamp it full strength, then I'm going to pick it up and just stamp it again slightly off. And that just kind of gives you a little shading and a little extra in there. I think it looks good. It's just my personal I guess. I don't know. And then I'm going to ink up the flowers that go over the top. And these I'm going to ink in Pool Party, but then I'm going to add a little shading with my Bermuda Bay pad. So to do that, I'm going to take a sponge and I'm going to pick up some ink with my sponge, and then I'm going to tap that ink at the bottom of the flowers. And I want to be careful to not get ink over the whole thing. And I kind of think I might have, but let's just try this on my scrap paper. Yeah, totally. Okay, we might have to go to level 2 of sponging, which is getting out the daubers. So hold on one moment while I grab a dauber. Okay, let's try this again. I don't even want to tell you how long it took me to find my sponge daubers. It was a little while. Okay, I inked this up again in Pool Party. Now I'm going to use my sponge dauber, which gives me a lot more control over where the ink is going than this big sponge. And you can see I'm just going to tap on the bottom edge of each flower so that I still have Pool Party at the top and then Bermuda at the bottom. And you can see the sponge dauber really does a good job. So in case you were wondering the difference between the two, there you have it. So you can see that looks great. Now I'm going to stamp this down so that each of the flowers lines up with the tip of each of the stems. And of course, photopolymer makes that so easy. So I'll pick it up and then I'm going to stamp it a couple more times just to fill in the space a little bit. And you can see that looks great. Now, I'm also going to spritz on this card. Now, I realize you're shocked and amazed by that concept, but I will tell you that I'm going to do it not in my traditional black, but instead in Pool Party. And the reason is it's a little more subtle and it will look great, but still be kind of, low key. So there we have it. If you wanted to, you could certainly add more colors to this in spritzing, like you could do Bermuda, but I'm confident that this looks good so far. So I don't want to stray too much from my original plan. Now let's put it all together. And I do have a couple of tips for that too, because as you can see, I've got kind of a fun embellishment and you might be surprised how I put that together. Now I'm going to pop up my layer of DSP. To do that, I'm going to use kind of an obscene amount of dimensionals. I normally would never use this many, but I want to make sure that my card looks good. And the reason I don't use that many is because I just frankly don't think you need that many. But in this case, I love the look of the popped up layer. And so there you have it, an obnoxious number of dimensionals. And this just kind of keeps the card together and popped up nice and evenly. And because this DSP is kind of flimsy in comparison to the cardstock, it's a much thinner weight, especially this particular DSP. I really want to make sure that it will pop up and stay up and not be kind of wavy. Okay, so I will just line this up how I like the look of it. And I don't like that. Kidding, kidding, kidding. I never push things all the way down till I'm confident, because that way you can do what I just did and adjust slightly if necessary. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Now I know that I put this on my paper crooked, so let's turn it over and see. Oh yeah. But if I have any pieces sticking out, I can just trim that excess off fairly easily, again, because of the pop dots, or dimensionals, pardon me. Gotta use my appropriate Stampin' terminology here. Okay, so otherwise this looks great. Now this will layer nicely on my Bermuda Bay panel so that I have a nice kind of congruent, don't be worried, it's not too fancy a stamping term, but it just kind of pulls everything together. Okay. Then last, but ooh, I see I have some cardstock sticking out up here. Let's take care of that quick. Warning. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay, so the last thing I need, well, actually 2 more things. I need to attach my Grateful and my For You. So I will do that right here. And I'm going to use my multi-purpose Tombow green glue for this purpose. I love this glue for these tiny little embellishments because the glue dries clear, of course, and it is really sticky good glue to adhere these little bits. I'm not going to go all the way to the top right here because I know that's going to stick out on my window just a touch. But everything else, and this will hold it all in place for me, which I just love. And isn't this pretty? Oh, this Grateful is just so pretty, especially with those lines stamped across there. And then, of course, I'll add my For You right below with some Fast Fuse. And you know what? I'm just going to trim this a little tighter with my banner punch. Of course, now that I've messed with it, I might have to abandon this entirely. I hope not. I just want to trim this a little tighter because it fits kind of in between the G and the F. And we'll even do it so it's even on both sides because that's just how I roll. Okay, now it fits great. Grateful For You. Get it? It fits great in Grateful. Sorry, that's terrible. Okay. And last but not least, I need to share with you how I did the bow. It's really easy. I'm going to take some cotton ribbon. Make sure you snatch some of this up before it's gone. And I'm going to create a bow, but I'm not going to tie it. So basically, I've done a loop so that I have a piece sticking out on either end. I'll snip that with my scissors, and then right here, I'm going to hold it with a block for a second. What I'm going to do is take some linen thread and a button and tie it together. I'm using my Classy buttons, and I'm going to feed the linen thread, we'll do the pretty side, through one of the holes, and then up through the opposing hole. But I'm going to leave this loop, and then what I'm going to do is pull this through my bow. I'll tighten this up and then tie a knot, and that's how I get a bow. Now what this allows me to do is put a pretty button in the center of my bow without getting a huge knot with a button on top of that knot for mailing purposes, because the post office gets crabby about things like that. You probably will still need that extra 21 cents or whatever it is on your card just because of the stupid button. I say stupid button, but I think it looks pretty. However, I think it looks wonderful, and this is for somebody who's worth an extra 20 whatever cents. Just saying. Okay, and then I'll just glue dot that onto my card. And that's it. Isn't that pretty? I hope you liked this project. And please check out my blog for all the details as well as links to purchase these fabulous items that are retiring. And thank you so much for stamping with me today. I love stamping with you guys. Have a great day. Bye.